With Frieza now being fully trained and now on Earth, the Frieza arc for Dragon Ball Super is well underway. Hello there, beautiful friends from around the world. I'm going to be your host, Blackenfist, and this is going to be my episode 20 and 21 review. The Resurrection F retelling continues in episode 20. The first half of the episode is spent with Frieza, and the second half is spent on Earth and the introduction of Jaco, no less. I gotta say, I really wasn't impressed with this episode, and the reason I wasn't impressed was because it followed the movie note for note, except for a few exceptions. Obviously, the biggest one is that Togoma actually is alive. Now, of course, this gets expanded upon more in the next episode, episode 21, so I'll save that for later. The other little exception is, of course, that Goten and Trunks interact with Jaco, which we didn't see that in the movie. But other than that, a lot of this episode was really just telling the exact same thing the movie was. The only thing different is that they talked a lot more and they shared a lot more details, but those details I didn't find very interesting. They didn't change the plot up too much. It just felt like padding. So, you know, a lot of people complain about some of the padding that was in episode 4, for instance. A lot of people, you know, Geekdom, Quaman, they complained a lot about that episode, but I felt that episode was pretty good considering that we got to see more of Emperor Pilaf. Maybe I'm saying this because I'm a Pilaf fan, yes. But we got to see more of the antics with Pilaf, and I found that interesting, while this truly, I think, is padding, since all it really was talking. That's it. It was talking. Most of this episode was talking. So this episode probably not the strongest. Now, most of episode 21, I do feel kind of the same way I did for episode 20. It played exactly the way it did, like in the movie. And honestly, that's a little disheartening. I really did like the changes that the Battle of Gods saga did in the previous arc, because those changes made things interesting, because for a fan like myself, I've already seen this material, so every little detail change, honestly, and every big change, any change is welcome, honestly, and it just makes the story and in this a lot more engaging. So the fact that for the most part not much was changed in episode 21 as well was disheartening, but there was one huge change, and that was the holdover from the previous episode, and that is the survival of Togoma, which is turning out to be a quite interesting thing. Togoma in Dragon Ball Super is looking to be a much better character in Super already than he was in the movie. Of course, in the movie he was killed off fairly quickly, so that isn't a big statement. I really do like the development that this character is turning out to be, being the sparring partner and being forced to train with Frieza in the certain way that he did, pretty much making it torture for himself, completely changing his character. Which is another thing that I really did like. It really showed Frieza's sadistic nature, which honestly, that's the good thing for him. That's one of Frieza's most outstanding personality traits. The only other comment I could really say about this episode is that Captain Ginyu, for a small moment, appears at the end, which is very curious what they're gonna do with him. They're not showing Captain Ginyu for no reason, so the only reason they're showing Captain Ginyu is because they're going to do something with him. And foreshadowing into the next episode, where Togoma seems to be a full-blown powerhouse, which could be extremely interesting, it could be possible that Captain Ginyu might come back, which I fully welcome. Like I said before, all the changes from the movie are welcome. It makes it more interesting, and honestly, the Captain Ginyu angle could be extremely interesting, but of course, that is not in this episode, that's in the next one. Overall, I feel that episode 20 probably is a weak episode, and episode 21, although not as weak, still, it was going through the motions too much, I felt, these two episodes. Yes, the major changes with Togoma are interesting, but they weren't enough. It was going too much by the motions of the movies. And that's just how I felt in these episodes. Too bad. You know, people accuse me all the time of being like a fanboy of Dragon Ball, and you know what, yeah, I am a fanboy of Dragon Ball. Some people might say that I, you know, try to illogically defend Dragon Ball Super sometimes, but hey, this time around I don't think that Dragon Ball Super quite nailed it. But you know what? The next episode definitely looks interesting, and of course with the introduction of Captain Ginyu, who knows where it can go from there. But anyway guys, that has been my review of both of these episodes, and if you enjoyed this review, and if you're looking forward to of course more episode reviews, and of course more Dragon Ball segments by me, please subscribe to the channel as you will get my video segments as soon as they come out. But until next time guys, I'm Blackenfist, and I will always be